I don't think more of the same thing is always a bad thing, but in some cases, I mean, that could be true. Does that ring true though with the Pixel 11 and 11 Pro? We'll find out in this video. With the Pixel 11 looking so much like the Pixel 10, which in turn looks so much like the Pixel 9, maybe it's worth looking into what Dbrand can do to spruce up your brand new phone. All of the classics are available for this phone that looks like the previous one. There is the Ghost 2.0 case if you actually like seeing the colours and the contours of your Pixel 11. The grippy sides just hide those grubby side rail fingerprints on the Pro tier, and take it from me, the Ghost case can take a beating, and there's the insane anti-yellowing coverage which covers you for life. If you want something a little more out there, a little more rugged and dare I say beastly, well the Tank case is just another classic made for these newest devices. It's like a monument to actual design, not a repeat of the Pixel 9. There's also the grip case if you want something a little more customizable that you can pair with any of your favourite skins, like the teardown skin, naturally. You know the deal, all of Dbrand's cases support MagSafe, so all of your existing accessories will still work as intended, but your phone gets the flavour that it is so sorely lacking. Pair any of these cases with these super precise Prism screen protectors, they're super high quality and have that funky little QR code that works with Google's fingerprint scanner enrollment process. It's super easy, even you can do it without getting bubbles. Trust me, I can do it myself. It takes seconds, and you'll even get $5 off a Prism purchase with any case, and you get 2 of these in a pack as well. Don't get left unprotected, get debranded via the links down in the description. You know the deal already, we're looking at some very similar designs again for 2026 and into 2027. The Pixel 11, the 11 Pro, they both look like the Pixel 10 and 10 Pro, which in turn look like 9 and 9 Pro. That's not to say some changes haven't been made though. The most important is actually to the camera bar. So the outer frame is metal, but the bar itself is glass. You know this, you've seen the leaks, you've seen their previews. Google's also slimmed down the thickness of the Pixel 11 camera bar. It is thinner, doesn't stick out quite as much. On the Pixel 11 Pro, the camera bar still protrudes a little bit. There's definitely something to consider there, because although you might potentially go out and buy a sporty case that will work on both phones, the Pixel 11 Pro camera does stick out more, could be in harm's way a little bit more readily, so you should definitely check out any third-party case. It's fully compatible for starters, and with both models working in different ways with regards to the camera setups. Definitely make sure it's the right one for you before picking it up. There might actually be some changes to some of the third-party cases out there, which are now a bit more separated because of this camera bar change. So yeah, definitely go check that ahead of time. The Pixel 11 Pro also has that higher resolution panel on the front. It's 1280 by 2856, I think it is, while the base Pixel 11 stays at that 1080 by 24 by 24, which is a really weird size as well. The cheaper phone does have thicker bezels still. Yeah, a little bit disappointing that we haven't seen those shrunk again, but it is an LTPO as well, so that means it supports 60 watt to 120 hertz instead of the dynamic 1 to 120 hertz display that the Pro actually offers. They're both super bright panels. The Pixel 11 is still set at 3000 nits of peak brightness like the Pixel 10, whereas the 11 Pro now hits 3600 nits. That's a big bonus, I think, if you do want to see this out in bright sunlight. It's also worth noting for protection, the base model still uses standard Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2, but the Pro adds a specialised anti-scratch coating on top of this Victus 2 glass, which delivers more than double the scratch resistance compared to previous models. Even so, I mean, I'm never convinced by these, so I do think a screen protector might still be necessary if you're going to hold onto your phone for a long time. It protects it against cracks, so I think it's worth it, especially if you're going to use that highlight feature, which we'll talk about briefly in a moment, which does actually require your phone to be face down, pointing upwards on the screen. So yeah, put it on a flat surface that's very hard. You could get potentially scratches no matter how hard Google reckons that the new display is. There are also a few things to be aware of spec-wise. The base Pixel 11 does come in standard with 12GB of RAM and storage options of 256 and 512GB. There's no 1TB option. The Pixel 11 Pro runs similarly to the entry level. It ships with 12GB of RAM, which is disappointing. That's down from 16GB last year, but it does have 256GB of storage as the base option. As I say, it's down from the Pixel 10 Pro, which had 16GB of RAM. So if you want Google's top tier performance configuration, that's only available in the 5, 12 and 1TB models of the Pro tier across the board this year. You'll have to step up to those devices to get 16GB of RAM, which I do think is disappointing. But I will say there is one bonus here, is that all models now have that UFS 4.0 storage by default. That's on the entry-level model right through to the top ones. Google, though, has locked one tiny thing here. There's an even faster version of UFS storage, which is zoned UFS storage. You'll have to get the 512GB tier on either model to get the benefits of zoned UFS. So yeah, if you want the fastest of the fastest, you'll have to pay a little bit over the odds to get it. Other little things I think to be aware of is that the Pixel 11 actually does not support Wi-Fi 7. It's stuck at Wi-Fi 6E connectivity, which is still pretty fast, but the Wi-Fi 7 connectivity is limited to the Pro tier this year. That device also has UWB support for better Bluetooth connectivity. There'll be some benefits when the Pixel tag arrives, and also potentially with digital car keys for approximation of location, all that kind of thing. So yeah, UWB is still limited to the Pro tier. And the Pro also has that highlight functionality. To be frank, this is just a colourful LED integrated into the flash section. It serves as an indicator for Gemini and calls. There's no other functionality there right yet. When you place the phone face down and flip to shush is activated, it's a basic notification LED. That's all it is at launch. We are expecting some more features, but yeah, it's not killer. Looks kind of cool, but yeah, wanes pretty darn quickly. As for software, there is zero change between how the Pixel 11 and 11 Pro look and feel in terms of their software experiences. Android 17 is identical here, even down to all of the core features and functions that are tacked in. The Pro doesn't get anything extra, which is good, I think. There may be some benefits with the addition of that zoned UFS on the 512 and 1TB models. For long-term performance gains, you might actually benefit there if you get the 16GB RAM version, but yeah, beyond that, nothing necessarily new. Highlight does give you some extra controls for the color tuning of that notification LED if you have it active. This is limited, as I say, but it only works in the contacts application where you can set that on contacts right now. Further compatibility is expected in the coming months with message notifications sometime later down the line as well with the software update. So yeah, we're hoping to see this evolve, but for now, yeah, no software changes between these. There are some brand new AI features though that are introduced with Gemini Intelligence, like you got proactive task offloading as a result of this. So yeah, it allows you to do things like check restaurant reservations within messages, share the location of a place, get hotel links, all of these directly inside your text chats. You do currently have to use Google Messages, but this could expand to further applications as well. Google Rambler is that voice-to-text tool. It is a big step up alongside that voice-to-text tool that's been there for a long time, but there is a new option as well here called Sign-to-Text, which is, it translates sign language in real time using the front-facing pixel camera. That might be a great accessibility tool. I'm glad to see Google putting time and effort in here. For photo and video creation, both phones actually benefit from that new conversational Gemini-powered Edit with Ask Photos, sorry. There's sensor-level film aesthetics with fully customizable camera looks. There's a comprehensive video production tools of the Creator Suite, which I say comprehensive, but there's a few here that might be useful if you do want to make videos on your phone. And lastly, both of these feature the new Magic Capture mode that automatically extracts 5 or so of the best HDR plus frames from a short video clip that you record in real time, which is really, really useful if you aren't necessarily a tack sharp or really fast photographer. There's 4K portrait bokeh video, which means you don't miss out on this functionality on either of the phones. So yeah, the base model doesn't miss out on these, which I think is great to see. Another couple of things stand out right away though with the Pixel 11 and 11 Pro when we start talking about the battery life. Firstly, the base model has a bigger 4,985, we'll say 5,000 mAh battery compared to the Pixel 11 Pro's 4,850 mAh battery. We don't even know the reason for this change because they do retain the identical physical footprints, which is kind of a strange way to make a change to the battery capacity. I'm not necessarily sure why that would be the case, but it is worth noting both support fast charging, which will get you about 55% of battery in around 30 minutes with a supported 30-watt USB-C charger, which I have to say, to be honest, isn't necessarily fast by smartphone standards today, but it is worth noting the updated and upgraded Qi 2.2 certified Pixel Snap is actually allowing you to get the full 25-watt rate on both models for the first time. This delivers up to, I think, 25% faster wireless charging on the base Pixel 11 and the same 29% faster charging on the Pixel 11 Pro compared to the predecessors. I don't know why the Pro would be slightly faster, but it is what it is. I do think that's great, though, if you have a Pixel Snap charger already and you picked one up last year or you're looking to pick one up, as it does mean you'll get faster charging. Qi 2.2 chargers, yeah, you get better charging across the board. So for a lot of people, I do think the camera is where you'll likely decide which device is right for you, Pixel 11 or 11 Pro. And the Pixel 11 is one of those devices which has had the most upgrades, I guess. I guess it has the most upgrades. It seems to me that way anyway, in terms of what we had last year. So there is a brand new 48 megapixel main sensor. It does still retain the 13 megapixel ultra wide and 10.8 megapixel 5x telephoto from the Pixel 10, but the new main sensor is a big jump up from that frankly disappointing A series level camera on the model a year prior. It offers 56% increase in light sensitivity, so it is just a better sensor overall, bigger as well, which is always great for the kind of things that you want for photos to be taken with them. You'll have better background blur, all that kind of jazz. The telephoto hasn't changed, but super res zoom, or super zoom I think they're calling it on this device, now actually supports up to 30 times on that base model, which I think is a nice bump up from the 20 times limit on the previous gen. Google also says that this is thanks to the Tensor G6 chip, but yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem like there is much of a difference in terms of why you couldn't be able to do this before. You could probably use some AI tuning, something like that. With the software tuning though and the improved primary sensor, this just really helps you get a vastly superior experience on this device. But it is worth noting the Pixel 11 Pro is a big jump up over the Pixel 11, kind of no matter how you cut it. So on the 11 Pro, Google has packed in that much more advanced triple array, including a redesigned 48 megapixel telephoto camera that is said to pull in around 30% more light. The improved lens also enables 120 times pro zoom, which combined with the Tensor G6 hardware, or the new hardware on that, and some of the latest AI imaging models, just improves that blocky long distance photos even more so, which gives you a level of clarity that is way better than the Pixel 10 Pro from last year, even though it does sometimes look a little bit artificial. Fortunately, as I say, you don't lose out on some of Google's best shooting guidance on that cheaper option. Camera looks are still here, as I noted before. There's Magic Camera as well, Portrait Blur Video, the Creator Mode are all here. It does miss out on the Instant Night Sight feature. Video Boost is not here as well, because that's for Pro phones only, and Super Res Zoom above 30x. There are some things are missing here, but if you want the best Pixel photos and videos, the choice does remain pretty simple. Get the Pixel 11 Pro. It's definitely a far more capable device when it comes to photos and videos than the standard Pixel 11. So which is the choice for you? Well, it's hard not to think about the wider industry here because it is a tough year to be a smartphone buyer. There are some really difficult decisions you're going to have to make and where you want to make them if you're going to upgrade your phone or looking at an upgrade this time around. And the Pixel 11, I think, signifies that more so than any other recent release. The Pixel 11, I think, doesn't feel as held back like it did last year with the Pixel 10. The Pixel 10 was held back in some ways, in ways that I think was detrimental to the experience. You do get enough functionality to get within touching distance of the Pixel 11 Pro, whereas the Pixel 10 maybe didn't last year. Most people, I think, will be really well suited to this base model because it has some of those important quality of life upgrades. Being able to stomach the price jumps, though, is another problem you're going to have to deal with. The Pixel 11 Pro is now well over $1,000 for that base model, and this isn't the XL we're talking about. The Pixel 11 also starts at an eye-watering $899 in the US, which is really, really high for what you get or what you don't get. There is a lot of settling within either price bracket this time that has been more pronounced this year than ever before. And to that end, I do genuinely think last year's phones might provide you with substantially more bang for your buck because you're still getting around 90% of the Pixel 11 at under 70% of the cost. If you must have Google's latest phones though, I'd say wait a little while until we see what sales and further discounts do to this device lineup period. Some trade-in deals have softened the blow, at least at launch, of the RAM downgrades and the price increases. So I would say if you are in the lookout for a phone right now, be sure to shop around for a deal that definitely works for you. And let me know what you've done and what you are planning to do down in the comment sections below. Hopefully this has helped you. I know there isn't as much as there probably would have been in previous years separating the two devices, but yeah, cheers for watching and I will speak to you later.